You gotta make your dreams pop. POP, plan on purpose. You've got to find out what it is that you want to do and what is the roadmap to get there. And everything is on the internet now, especially with like ChatGPT, everything. There's really no excuses. But if you start, then you can look back and see how far you need to go, where you need to make some adjustments, but you're gonna start.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining Chat with Charli. We are thrilled to have a wonderful special guest here with us today. Thank you, Kate, for being here.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Hello, it's Charli, your go-to for mastering the art of public speaking and career advancement. Welcome to Chat with Charli, where industry professionals share their invaluable insights and advice to help you excel within your desired industry. Get ready to dive deep into the minds of accomplished individuals as they unravel strategies, share personal experiences, and provide actionable tips that you won't get anywhere else. Whether you're looking to advance your career, start a new venture, or simply stay ahead in your industry, this is the place to be. Tune in and level up your expertise with Chat with Charli. Absolutely. I'm loving the popping, the blazer. You know, it's very nice. And you look very nice.
Thank you.
So, as you know, I'm a public speaking consultant. So, I would love to be able to start this off with a public speaking game to just get us kind of relaxed and laid back. Is that okay?
It's fine.
Okay. So, there are topics in this.
There
are topics in this cup. And this is a timer, about 30 seconds. So you will be able to choose your own topic. So you'll hold the cup, draw your topic, talk about it for as long as you can without saying the word or like.
Or like.
And if you do, that's okay. You'll grab another topic and keep going until the time's up.
Let's see.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's
got this. Ready?
Go. One at a time.
Yes.
Playlist. So one of the best things I can do to relate to friends is just share a playlist, because it depends on your mood. Sometimes you want a brunch playlist. Right now I'm working on my homecoming turn up playlist. Shout out to Grandma Stay. You know, this is fun. Swimming pool. This is fun. My sister just got a house with a swimming pool. So I'm like, if she got a swimming pool, that means we got a swimming pool. And so much maintenance on the swimming pool, but they're so fun and we can really use them a lot in Houston because it's so warm all the time. And we're looking at putting a weird, like, again, when she got a swimming pool, we got a swimming pool, but they're thinking about getting the cabana around it. And I grew up with a swimming pool because my great grandmother had one and she had in the valley.
Now about this swimming pool.
Okay.
When you said when she had the swimming pool, we have. I'm assuming that includes me as well. So I'm just saying. So sister, wherever you are, you now have a new friend named Charli, and so I've always wanted a swimming pool. I'm too scared to do it, but now that I know that we have somebody that has one, when you eat, we eat.
Listen, P20.
You did excellent. That was great.
Thank you.
Okay, give me the hot tub.
Like that.
You did perfect. You did really good, and you got all that personality with it. You're natural. You're a little better. So I just always like to start with something like that so we get kind of relaxed.
And I feel a fun icebreaker kind of, yeah.
Good. So now we'll kind of get to what we know you came for and what the people want to hear. And so I appreciate you being here today. So when we're talking about your background and your industry, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to your particular industry and what your industry is?
Okay, so I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I'm in two different things, two of the most random things, popcorn and shea butter. But I really got started when I was a kid. I've always been an entrepreneur. So if it was selling bracelets, if it was selling candles, if it was teaching classes, I've always known that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And in 2014 is when I pursued it full time. But primarily I'm in concessions. I make popcorn and I do a lot of business to business for big events like Super Bowl. I've been in Kroger grocery stores, did pop-ups with Williams Sonoma, homecoming events, really like big events. And I just got started I wanted a product that was inexpensive, a business that was inexpensive to start, consumable, and bring me repeat customers. And popcorn, once I realized that, the profit margin on popcorn is amazing. I'm a snacker, naturally a snacker, and I always joke if I didn't make popcorn, I would definitely make chips. I keep saying, "Oh, look, I need to pull another."
The game was over. The game was over.
So that's what I do. I make popcorn, but I'm a lot on the informational side now. I've been doing it for about 10 years. So I'm also a specialty food business coach, and I work a lot with schools doing Popcorn CEOs, which stands for Children's Economic Opportunities, where I teach entrepreneurship using the popcorn company as the business example, based on the principles of supply chain management. That's like a mouthful, but I got started, my corporate background is a corporate recruiter and supply chain and oil and gas. And so that's why I have a warehouse and not a retail location, just based on the distribution and the things that I've learned that way. And I like my weekends, and I have to find, I know what my orders are ahead of time, and it just works for my lifestyle.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're just like a jack of all trades. I'm Janet.
A janitor of all trades. We got merch. We got popping merch. I have a lot of fun stuff.
And I am. I'm loving the shirt. I'm loving the color. It's giving me a lot of vibes. The popcorn she did bring me. So on air, I'm going to try this popcorn.
Okay.
Because I'm hoping that's going to be, actually, I really know it's going to be as good as you described.
Mm-hmm.
So then we can go get the popcorn and go to your sister's house and eat the popcorn while we're laying by the pool and so all that good stuff. So thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. So what are the current trends? You kind of mentioned a little bit with your background with merchandise versus doing actual retail. So a lot of current trends.
Yeah, online sales is where it's at right now. But I did notice we're trending back to wanting more experiences. So pre-pandemic, everything was offline, online. The retail locations were closing down. Think about big shopping malls were closing down. A lot of brick and mortars were closing. Just everybody was doing things online. But now, after post-pandemic, we're outside. We want to be outside. We want to be doing stuff and engaging with people in real life. And so I'm looking into that, but still it's called ready to eat RTE, which is, I don't pop on site. Like I typically don't even vend on site. But you would typically find kettle corn popcorn like outdoors in fairs or carnivals or farmers markets. People over there with the big pot and stick and the mask and the popcorn going everywhere. Because it's just a show, and then the smell of the popcorn draws people in. But because of regulations and a lot of venues requirements, direct ready-to-eat package like cupcakes or chips, candy, those type of things that are already packaged and coming, you can sell it individually. It's trending back towards that again.
People are ready to go outside.
Yeah, they're ready to go outside, and it's something grab and go. It's a quick snack, but people are outside again, and so doing more events like that.
No, that's awesome. I was listening to you when you were talking about a little bit about your background. Can you speak on that just a little bit? That you were saying that you were already trained and how to talk to us about that.
So I'm a degree in marketing, and I've worked as a recruiter in oil and gas here in Houston, Texas. So when I graduated, I started as a recruiter, a human resource generalist, and I pulled out the recruiting piece because that's the piece that I like. With HR generalists, you get to touch everything. You get to touch benefits, employee relations, compensation, and I like the recruiting piece. So that's what I've pulled out, and that's what I focused on. And here in Houston, we have the oil and gas, medical, and manufacturing industries are really big here. And so I kind of just fell into that. And so working in supply chain management for companies who provide like pipes, valves, fittings for oil and gas companies, we have warehouses all over the U.S. and abroad. So they would have small small little offices that they can go into to buy the products that they needed. Like when I say buy, it's like $1 million pipes and stuff. Right? Still, they didn't have retail locations like that. And so that's why I was like, oh, this is the other side of the business that puts it into the retail location, right? And these warehouses, typically, depending on where they are, they're closed on the weekends, and I worked in event planning before when I was in graduate school living in Louisiana, when I thought I was going to work in events full time, but I like my weekends. I like to travel like my weekends. And so I was like, I'm going to focus on, this one. I intentionally didn't want a retail location when I started. So that was another thing that I learned, took all of the experience from hiring, general managers, store managers, warehouse drivers, customer service, inside sales. So I know all of the things to do to run a supply chain manufacturing company.
That's wonderful. So it sounds like you definitely gained transferable skills.
Definitely gained transferable skills.
So, and you may have mentioned this a little bit, but what motivated you to get into this particular industry with the kettle corn?
So, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I'm motivated by my time and the easiest path to get to the money, right? And so, when I started the company, the idea for a company. I had a resale shop in a huge flea market here in Houston, and the only people who could sell food, even those hundreds of vendors, the only people who could sell food were the owners of the space. And so I would see people walking around eating popcorn, and it's kettle corn. And kettle corn is only 4 ingredients, but it's the type of corn that you use, the type of salt that you use, the type of oil that you use that elevates it or differentiates your product from another company. And so one day I wanted some popcorn, and I did not want to go way on the other side. I mean, it was like 2 football fields big. Like, I didn't want to go way over there to get some. And I have to figure this out. I can make this.
Okay.
So to go home, get on Google like we do. Everyone, YouTube and Google has everything. You can learn anything you want. And I learned how to make kettle corn indoors.
Wow.
So that's how I got started. And I was like, oh, this will be good, because this one day. And then my friends and my sisters were like, no, let's do it now. Do it now. You need to do it now. So I did popcorn for my line sisters. I'm a Delta. Shout out to Delta in the facility incorporated.
Okay. We all make our
Don't do that.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh,
Okay.
Fellow sister green.
That's right. That's right. It's all about the divine nine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something very nice to have.
Yeah. So I did popcorn for my line sister's baby shower. And Heather is ready to pop, and then there was no popcorn left. And like people were just like, oh, I do need to do this. And I was like, well, one day, that one day it turned into like, no, you need to do this now. So her baby shower was in September. Homecoming was in October. I took some to homecoming, sold out, and it's been popping ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
You flipped it that fast. And so
because the beautiful part is I don't pre-pop. So I pop to order, right? And so I know what my capacity is. And it's a quick snack, and people like popcorn. Like, if you don't like popcorn, you don't have to buy it. But it's like something that is inexpensive. Again, those are the criteria that I had. I wanted a business that was inexpensive to start, consumable, and bring me repeat customers. And that fit the bill for popcorn.
Right. I almost want to take a piece out. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Right? We can almost, this would be the title of today's podcast. I don't like it, don't buy it. You don't want to watch it, don't watch it. So what are some current trends or developments in your industry?
A lot of trends in the snack food industry are right now, everything is like spicy and tahini, like flavors. Flavors are trendy for sure, because you can do a lot with popcorn. There's a lot of health benefits that people are, packaging it that way. Again, and just being back outside, that trend of being back outside. But I literally only make 2 flavors of popcorn, and I only make the second flavor is because the order was so big that I couldn't turn it down. But it was movie butter popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was so big that I couldn't turn it down. And a lot of people may wonder why I don't have a lot of different flavors and things like that, because if you do research, the top flavors are like 3. And people want to try those other flavors, but they're not how to keep going back to them. And then I'll have like inventory, and that's not my business model. So I would suggest like, oh, you can do it. Yeah, there's enough out here for everyone. So I don't do that now. So
And what flavors did you bring me today?
I have California. That's my signature.
Yeah. Like, I got the good stuff. How would I have the good stuff? I want to make sure I got the kettle corn. The most important step to achieving your goals is step 1. Simply start. Stop putting things off until tomorrow, because the more you put it off, the more likely it will never happen. So what skills have you found viable to the work that you're doing right now?
Well, because I started out in with social media, that I'm literally the face of my company, using my marketing background. Again, my company is called K's Kettle Corn, but my merch is poppin'. Like, I have poppin' merch. So people who typically or don't necessarily like popcorn, they'll buy a poppin' shirt because they like the logo. You know, it's the old school baseball, Cali Crenshaw, like, you know, the logo. So that resonates with a lot of people. Like, I have guys who don't eat popcorn, period, but they're sneakerheads. And so they match the shirts with their shoes. So those are different lanes that you can get into that way. I do hoodies and joggers and things like that. So the pop-in, it's just, it goes with it, and then it's fun, right?
You just love it. It's just you. Mm-hmm. So what challenges have you faced within your industry, if any?
No, the challenges, especially during COVID, everyone had to pivot. I had to go back to direct to customer, where I was dealing with major orders because I did Kettle Corn Fridays pre-COVID, Kettle Corn Fridays downtown at the offices in Houston, and now everybody's working from home. So it's like, okay, that's like 90% of my business. Like, what do I do now? So I'm like back old school, like, but it worked a little bit because people were home streaming movies, and, you know, Uber Eats and all of that was really big, but I had to go back to delivering. And Texas has a really good cottage food law where you can make up to $50,000 at home if you have non-perishable food items. So like your cookies, cakes, anything that doesn't need to be refrigerated. It works. So keep that in mind, Texas. A lot of states have it, so you can look up your artisan or cottage food laws if you're thinking about starting a business, and it'll tell you like all of the requirements. So I was able to do that. But that was a challenge. In pre-COVID, like 2019, I'm like, okay, I need to scale because we're still doing a lot of stuff by hand. I had this warehouse, so how am I gonna fund this, right? So it's either I need to buy this $100,000 equipment, or what, like that was the only next thing to do. And in 2019, I went to my first huge conference, trade show in Las Vegas. It was Pack Expo, where I saw, and I encourage everyone to do this. If you're in an industry, even if you're just thinking about it, go to these expos so you can see what the big people are doing. Like, what are your competitors or future competitors doing? It was massive. The machinery, the packaging machinery, all of that was there. So I got inspiration, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this machine, and then if I buy this machine, then I'm gonna be committed to it. And COVID hit. Like, so I was just like, I had to spend $100,000 on this because nobody knew what was gonna happen. And so that was a major challenge, just like scaling, knowing when to scale, redefining my goals, having to pivot. Those kind of things are major challenges, especially when you're not motivated by money. I'm motivated by time. So if I get this, I'm going to have to manage somebody else, even if I can transfer it over to a general manager. And thankfully, my family is amazing, and we all work together. But it's like, I still have to train. And I'm like, what? It's still my company, so I'm still going to be responsible for them in the back of my head. You know, I'm still going to have to do all of this stuff. Always having to think about, what do I really want to do with this business? That's a constant challenge.
So what motivates you? I think you really kind of touched on it. Mm-hmm. What motivates you to stay in this industry? And what makes you passionate about this work?
What makes me passionate about this work, one, is the knowledge transfer to the children, because when I do these workshops, the children's entrepreneurship workshops, even though they might not grow up to be an entrepreneur, they're doing teamwork skills, public speaking, because we do a sales pitch, those type of skills that they can use, other things that they do in life, and then for them to see how popcorn come from kernel to I didn't even realize this. One of my friends, my age, has never made popcorn at the house before because like on the stove, because it was just microwave popcorn. That never occurred to me. Like, when's the last time you made popcorn on the stove?
I've never made it.
See,
yeah, I'm one of those people guilty.
Never made it.
Really me and cooking, you know, and so what we're not going to talk about today is that. And so my husband actually taught me how to cook, so we'll just leave that for another day. So when you're talking about making popcorn from scratch, that's foreign to me.
Yeah.
But I've seen it be done before. I've seen it. But I do just use microwave popcorn. And not after talking to you today, now I'm just going to keep going to pop it. I'm just going to go to pop it and order your popcorn.
Yeah, it tastes different. And so just for them to see it like in the air popcorn, it's like, oh. And then we literally pop, package, label, and then we do the sales pitch, and they're just like, oh, that's how it gets to the store. It's like, yeah, and it's like, oh, I can do this too. Yeah, you know, if it's cookies, because sometimes we'll think about entrepreneurship in this grand scheme, like, oh, I'm out the gate of a millionaire. It's like, well, do you know someone who has a lawn care company? Do you know someone who has a daycare? Do you know someone who is a piano teacher? Whatever it is, or a tutor. Those are entrepreneurs as well. And this is what we use, the same skill. So that is one of the most, that's what keeps me going. And again, my time, and I'm able to travel a lot because I know what my orders are. So I'm passionate about the work that I do in Ghana, West Africa. I think I touched on a little bit. I have a project called Ankara Beauty. In 2019, I founded the company. I've been going to Ghana, West Africa for the past 5 years, and popcorn has literally funded this. And I've taught people in Ghana how to make popcorn. The women who I buy the shea butter from, when they're not selling shea butter, they needed something to supplement their income. And they have popcorn there, but it's a little bit different than what we use. But, you know, they're snackers as well. So it's just like, oh, it's just popcorn, but it's literally taking me around the world.
Yeah, it's not just popcorn. Yeah. It's nice when you get to do your passion and then also make somebody else's life better, right? So you're doing the work, you get the best of both worlds, right? You get the level of entrepreneurship, but then you get to turn around and give back to someone else. Right. I want to hear a little bit more about what you're doing in Ghana because I'm just beyond impressed. I'm trying to think, when do you sleep? So when
I sleep when I don't have parties. I have a retail location. So 2018, I went to Ghana for the first time with one of my friends. She has a travel company, HBCU Alumni Abroad. And I've been going every year for the past 5 years, including during the pandemic. Stay a month or two at the end of the year from December through February. And December is when Ghana is popping. It's crazy busy. It's so much fun. And 2019 is when the second time that I went back, because when I'm there, people are like, oh, we're getting some shea butter. They think Africa, they think shea butter. Well, West Africa, they think shea butter, the best shea butter in the South. I started importing shea butter I found a women's owned cooperative in northern Ghana, which is it's like an hour flight, 45 minutes to an hour flight from Accra, which is the capital. But it's like a 12-hour bus ride just because of the bad roads and things like that. But I've never taken a bus. I'll fly up there, and then I'm shooting a documentary entitled The Business of Shea, which tells the stories of the women who make shea butter and where they fall in line on the manufacturing supply chain. Again, back to my experience with supply chain. And so the cooperative that I get the shea butter from, then lady who owns the cooperative, she's building a school on the site for the women whose children make shea butter.
Wow. And
so every year I've gotten able to bring shoes for the students, and I love it because it's the same kids every year. My friends, they know I'm born in Ghana. I'm a life hacker, so all my suitcases are full with donations and gifts for the students because it's around Christmas time. So we do school supplies, we do shoes every year. And then I have the Ankara Beauty Box where on my way to Ghana, I'll do like a stopover in either Egypt or Kenya. Well, I did Kenya for a couple of days. Egypt, Kenya, where else have I been? Togo. I'll go to different African countries and pick up like beautiful necklaces, or I get things made from solo entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs there, and I put it in the Ankara Beauty Box. And wow, yeah. And this is all started because I had free time because I sell popcorn. I'm like, as I'm sharing this, it's always like that. It's been like that for the past 5 years because October, November are my super crazy busy time. And then I could just take 2 months off.
No, ma'am. You work 2 months, get to take 2 months off. I said, forget this pod now. I'm selling cattle farm. Okay, I'm going with Kay. That is powerful. The work that you're doing is impeccable. And I want to just say thank you. Thank you on behalf of all of us, because that work is second to none. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So to just kind of wrap this up, because I have been very inspired with what you shared today. If you would want to give advice to someone else who might be interested in doing similar work to you or just being an entrepreneur themselves, what advice would you give them?
Start. You've got to start. And I tell this all the time. Pop is an action word. When you think of the kernel, it has to, get heated up and then it pops. It's literally an action. And so, make your dreams pop. POP, plan on purpose. You've got to find out what it is that you want to do and what is the roadmap to get there. Everything is on the internet now, especially with like ChatGPT, everything. There's really no excuses. But if you start, then you can look back and see how far you need to go, where you need to make some adjustments. But you're going to start, because sometimes we're our biggest critic and it's not going to look perfect. And if it does look perfect, amazing. But if it doesn't, just redo the draft. You could always, but you just have to start. That's my parting advice for anyone who has an idea. Just start and then figure it out, perfect it later.
That's right. Okay, that's the best advice you could give. I tell people all the time, I agree with that. That's what I have to tell myself. Yeah. I've had this vision for Chat with Charli for some years now. Mm-hmm. There's no excuse. Yeah, I had to just start. Yeah. And it's people like you that have made this dream come true. And so I appreciate you coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime I get to tell the story, because it's so surreal sometimes when I talk, I'm talking about myself.
Yeah, but you're blessing all the rest of us while you're doing it.
And it's a blessing to even be here, to be able to be found in these groups. And that's the other thing. A lot of people, you might not get 1,000 likes or something like that, but you never know who is watching. Right, you could end up with Chat with Charli.
I love it. And I've been really, really thankful for you coming today. So I appreciate you being here. And before we go, we'll have to go ahead and link up. Okay. We'll have to just do this one time for the one time. Okay, let's do it for the people. Greek love. Okay, let me bring on this popcorn before you go. I want to see. Okay, I'm testing it out. Let me get a look. It smells good. It looks good. Now let me get a little taste. Girl!
Damn. It's good. And I'm not just saying that because it's my popcorn.
I'm eating it. I don't have to say nothing I don't want to say. This is good. This is good. This is fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh. I like it today.
I see the difference.
Yeah. And so that's the thing, because I pop to order. It's a major difference. And yeah.
Y'all go get y'all some of this popcorn. It's good, y'all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Honest and thank you. That wraps up another episode of Chat with Charli. Thank you all so much for joining me today as we explore various topics aimed to help you take your career to new heights. I hope you found today's discussion valuable and insightful. Remember, growth comes from continuous learning and taking actionable steps towards your goals. I'd love to hear from you all about today's content, so connect with me on social media at Lennon Prep and leave a comment or question to keep this chat going. Be sure to tune in to next week's episode, where we'll dive deep into the minds of another industry professional. It's going to be another informative and engaging conversation that you won't want to miss. And if you like Chat with Charli, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach more people ready to level up their expertise. Thank you again for being a part of our career advancement journey. And remember, strive for excellence, not perfection. Keep pushing forward and never stop investing in yourself. Until next time, bye.